The bluff overlooking the town of Arromanches was located on the western portion of Gold Beach. The Allies did not want to land on this portion of Gold Beach because they wanted to protect the roads and beaches, so the Allies constructed an artificial harbor known as the Mulberry Harbor. The British 1st Battalion Hampshire Regiment landed east of here and then advanced and captured the plateau where we are standing. The plateau was defended by WN-42 and included a radar station, one 75mm gun, 3 anti-aircraft guns, and several machine guns. By 10:30 p.m., the town of Arromanches was captured after light resistance, and the roads and beach had been preserved, which allowed the Allies to begin construction of the harbor on June 7th. Portions of the harbor were operational by June 14th. There were actually 2 planned artificial harbors, the one here in Arromanches and a second one at Omaha Beach. However, the harbor at Omaha Beach was destroyed in a storm on June 19th, and the harbor here at Arromanches became the main offloading area until other ports could be captured, such as Cherbourg, which happened on June 26th. I've read many differing statistics about how many men and equipment were delivered, but research suggests that the landings delivered nearly 2.5 million men, 500,000 vehicles, and 4 million tons of equipment and supplies, much of that right here in Arromanches. One of the most touching memorials that we saw during our trip was here at Arromanches. Bill Pennell was just 22 years old when he landed at Gold Beach on June 6, 1944. The memorial shows 97-year-old Bill looking at his younger self as he storms Gold Beach. 75 years separates these two scenes, and as you can see in the memorial, the men landing on the beach are now fading away. And sadly, Bill would pass away shortly after this memorial was commenced in 2018. Just east of Arromanches is the town of Asnelles. This portion of Gold Beach was defended by German resistance nest WN-38, which consisted of one 50mm gun, at least one mortar, and several machine guns. Just like Omaha and Utah beaches, the guns here all point out towards the beach, rather than out towards the sea. Standing here gives you a clear look of how devastating the guns here would have had on the men landing on the beach. The Canadians were tasked with landing on Juno Beach, and this portion of Juno Beach was defended by German resistance nest WN-28. It included two 50mm guns, 3 mortars, and several machine guns. This house has the distinction of being the first house liberated on Juno Beach. It is now known as the Canadian House. The 50mm gun in this ring stand reportedly knocked out several Canadian tanks. The Canadians were able to secure Juno Beach by 9 a.m., but suffered approximately 1,200 casualties, making it the second deadliest beach on D-Day. Sword Beach was the easternmost of the 5 beach landings. The landings here consisted mostly of British soldiers, but there were also some Free French, Polish, and Norwegian soldiers who landed. This sector of Sword Beach was defended by German resistance nest WN-18 and consisted of a 75mm gun, a 50mm gun, a 25mm gun, and several machine guns. The first units landed at 7:25 a.m., and several tanks and landing craft were hit by the German guns. The units landing on Sword Beach suffered approximately 630 casualties during D-Day. Lord Lovett's 1st Brigade of British Commandos also include 177 Frenchmen that landed at this sector of Sword Beach. As shown in the movie The Longest Day, one of the men in this unit was bagpiper Bill Millin. He was actually born in Canada, but his family had moved back to Scotland when he was a child. The War Department prohibited bagpipers on the front lines during World War II because they attracted enemy fire, but Millin's commander wanted bagpipes in his unit and said the English mandate didn't apply to them since they were Scottish. Millin waded ashore with nothing but his kilt, his bagpipe, and a knife. Many of the men cheered as Millin moved about the beach playing his bagpipes, and they were astonished that he wasn't hit. A German soldier who survived the battle said Millin was spared because they thought he was crazy. After exiting Sword Beach, Millin and his unit moved out to link up with Pegasus Bridge, and the soldiers at the bridge could hear Millin's bagpipes as Lord Lovett and his men approached the bridge. Approximately 6 miles from Sword Beach is the bridge over the Pont-Sur-le canal at the town of Benoitville. There was a second bridge located approximately a third of a mile east of Pegasus over the River Orne. 6 British gliders with 181 men were to take the 2 bridges. 2 landed at the other bridge and was able to capture the bridge without a fight. 1 glider was separated and landed 7 miles off of target. The remaining 3 gliders landed at Pegasus Bridge. The first of the 3 British gliders, commanded by Major John Howard, landed just 47 yards from the bridge on the eastern side of the canal, which was an extraordinary feat considering the gliders had no engines and were towed from England. After the gliders were released from their host plane, the pilots steered the glider to their target using just a compass and a stopwatch. As the men exited the gliders, the commandos quickly captured the German 50mm gun south of the bridge on the eastern side of the canal, and a German machine gun position north of the bridge also on the eastern side of the canal. 2 German guards were on the bridge when the assault started, and one of the guards fired a flare into the air to alert the nearby German garrison. The German was immediately shot, and the second guard ran away and hid for 2 days before being captured. As the commandos made their way across the bridge, 2 German machine guns on the western side of the canal opened fire and were quickly put out of action. Lieutenant Den Brotheridge was hit by the German fire and is often considered to be the first British soldier killed during D-Day. However, some historians believe that Lance Corporal Fred Greenhalgh was the first British soldier killed when he was ejected from glider number 2 when it broke in half, and he drowned after landing in the pond that you can still see today. His body wasn't discovered until daylight, after his body was found floating in the water. Shortly after the assault on the bridge, British soldiers shot a Mercedes car along one of the nearby roads. The German driver was killed, and 3 others were wounded, including the German major that commanded the local regiment. The British discovered that the Germans all smelled of alcohol and perfume, showing just how surprised the Germans were of the attack. The Germans recognized the importance of the bridge and counterattacked throughout much of June 6th. The Germans even sent 2 boats down the canal to attack the bridge. The British used the captured 50mm gun to sink one of the boats, and the other boat retreated. The British commandos suffered additional casualties as they endured heavy fighting in and around Benoitville. Lord Lovett and his men from Sword Beach relieved the bridge at 12:05. They were supposed to be there at noon, and Lord Lovett apologized to Major Howard for being 5 minutes late. The British received sniper fire during the day, and the British thought they saw light reflecting from the chateau in the distance, either from a sniper scope or from binoculars observing their positions. The British opened fire with the captured 50mm gun, and several rounds struck the building until Major Howard ran to the gun and yelled for them to stop firing because the building was used as a maternity hospital. Luckily, no one in the chateau was injured, and the hospital madame tried stopping a German lieutenant who actually went to the roof of the hospital to observe the German positions. Prior to D-Day, the madam of the hospital assisted the French resistance and helped Allied airmen that had been shot down. The cafe on the western side of the bridge is considered to be the first house liberated on D-Day. The daughter of the couple that owned the cafe was just 4 at the time of the invasion, and she still runs the cafe today. The original bridge was removed in 1993 and replaced with the replica that we see today.